myself. Okay, welcome back to the live stream. We're covering these storms in and around the Houston area. We have north, east, and south. I got some updates. Storm that originally posed a significant hail and tornado threat is now weakening. Rotation is not quite as strong, but still there. Still a supercell tracking northeast, but not quite as strong now. So it's got some good news there. It's impacting the town of Point Blank and also the other town, Stephen Creek. So main hazard would be 1.75-inch hail and some weak rotation with that. New severe thunderstorm warning now in effect for towns of Dayton, Liberty, Ames, Devers. Still some. The storm has a 2.5-inch hail marker and appears to have some rotation with it. Not very well organized though. So that will be heading off to the north and east. I've been reading off the warning here. Quarter-size hail is the main threat with this storm, as well as 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Now, the storm to the south of Galveston it appears to be more tornadic, but it is, but as it becomes more tornadic, it starts to turn more eastward, which is keeping it offshore. So there's some good news there. Rotation is strong with that. Strong rotation, well-defined hook echo, capable of producing tornadic waterspouts. Not just normal waterspouts, these are actual supercell waterspouts. Be what it's capable of producing. Looks like that storm might be strengthening near Crowley. Yes, it is just strengthening, but the rotation has weakened. Main hazard with that will be 0.75-inch hail as it's tracking off to the north and east. Hayes, Bell City, it's heading towards your location. It should be then there within the next 45 minutes in that general vicinity. Moving back, we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect now for the towns of Appleby, Melrose, Martinsville, Garrison, Stockton. It's been readjusted to fit the warning area. Some weak rotation. I'll highlight the area of rotation here. This is where the rotation would be. Not very strong. Not really too much to worry about this time. Just about to hit Melrose, probably hitting there right now, and heading off to the north and east towards Martinsville. Main hazard with the storm will be quarter-size hail, but the warning has been canceled, but still quarter-size hail is a potential hazard with this, but it is weakening. You have anything, Lucas? Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I'm just noting these storms to the west of Houston. It's kind of like supercells trying to form, but there's too many of them. You see them getting kind of trying to hook around, but I'll show you what I mean by hooking around here. I'll highlight this. Trying to hook. Actually, that is not a very good color. Sorry about that. I'll use white. Here it is. Here. 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 They're trying to form hooks, but they can't because there's too many of them. So we're going to have to see how that develops in the near future. It's more turning into a big mess now from what I'm looking at things. So this may prohibit the risk of tornadoes more. There's still risk of it. Not saying there isn't, but it may be starting to prohibit the risk. Just off of Galveston, there is a special marine warning in effect for not wind gusts and large hail, tracking off to the north and east. If it does make landfall, it should be making landfall near the town of High Island. And that continues to track off to the north and east. Also, the line of storms tracking straight north will be heading in the general direction of Cameron, Louisiana. It's off the ocean, right? Well, it's in the Gulf of Mexico, not the ocean, but you know, it's just not on land. Okay, north of Cove, there's a severe thunderstorm. Liberty, Ames, Dayton, Stilton, Devers, Hull. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing 1.5-inch hail. And rotation, maybe, but it's not very well defined. So watch out for that storm. Severe thunderstorm warning also in effect for Sour Lake, Graysburg, China, Nome, Bevel Oaks, Honey Island. That will probably be either expired or will be reissued. Sour Lake, Graysburg, Nome, China, Honey Island, you are out of the clear. Bevel Oaks, watch out for quarter-size hail with that storm. Rotation looks minimal at this time. Moving back up to the original storm that posed that tornado threat earlier on, near Point Oak and Steven Creek. It's tracking off to the north and east, West Livingston, New Willard, Seven Oaks, Moscow. So it's heading towards those locations. Does not look so well defined. It does have a rotation signature, not strong. It almost looks like it's trying to gust out. When I mean gusting out, there's a little bit of a bowing segment, which will be a good sign. I'll highlight it here. This is kind of like where it's a bowing in a way. It's kind of got a C shape to it, and that'll be tracking off to the north and east. Now, one factor, I'll bump this down one notch, would be these storms, as I'm highlighting here. This may prohibit the severe risk. There's a bunch of them, at least in this area. One thing I will note is, if I move this down here, the area I'd be most concerned for a tornado risk would be in this vicinity, as I'm circling here. Reason is there hasn't been as much rain there. There's not rain currently, and storms are staying isolated in that area. We got a storm here tracking off to the north. Well, not that north, but tracking off to the north and east and heading towards shore. That could be a tornado producer as it moves to shore, but it's definitely a supercell right now. We'll be continuing to monitor for supercell development. Strong rotation on that storm, tracking up to the north and east towards the area of Highland. Special marine warning is also in effect for that storm for large hail and 34 not mile per hour wind gusts. Which one? Which one? So we mean yeah, I would not say that, it's not a tornado, it's a water spout, but this is likely producing water spouts at this time. It might gust out. The look at the storm is not the hook, which I'll highlight. It's giving, usually I've seen these type of hooks, sometimes they gust out. Might be trying to do that, but I'm not sure. Yeah, change this to it. This is the C shape. Yeah, this is the C shape. But then you also have this here, this trailing. It could try and gust out. When it's gusting out, it turns into more of a C shape. I'll show you more of what it will turn into. The hook will be more bowed out. There'll still be an inflow notch that comes in here, clear air, and then you have the hail core off to the north. So, still be a supercell if it does that. but just watching that, it could gust out here. Severe thunderstorm warnings still remain in effect for Liberty, Ames, Devers, Hull, Dayton, Stillston. Another severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect for Bevel Oaks. The rest of the towns in that vicinity are not in the immediate path of this storm, except for a Sills B. Otherwise, these other towns in this warning are not in the path of the storm. If you're near Bevel Oaks, a potential for a quarter-size hail. Also, moving on to the severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Stebbin Creek, Point Blank, Oakhurst, West Leamington, Livingston, New Word, Leggett, Seven Oaks, Moscow, Woodlake. The people in the path, the towns in the path of the storm include New Willard, West Livingston, Seven Oaks, Moscow. So if you're in any of those towns I just mentioned, watch out for quarter-size hail, and that would be the main hazard right now. Would be quarter-size hail, the 1.5-inch hail, and I'll show you the tornado threat has dramatically weakened with the storm. I'll show you why. I've been talking about this bowing segment. It's bowing. You can see the bow here. It's a backward C, is what it is. So it has a backward C shape with it. The area of rotation would be located right in here, but it's not very well defined. Still a possibility of a tornado, but the tornado threat is not very strong at this time. Or high, I should say. Strong rotation is still indicated by the storm offshore to the southeast of Galveston. Strong rotation with that storm, waterspout likely with that. Special rain warning remains in effect. Moving on, there's a severe thunderstorm warning in effect just north of the severe thunderstorm watch, but that has expired, I believe. Yes. Wait. No, it has not expired. It was expired, but now it isn't. So potential for quarter-size hail. That will be the main hazard with the storm. Martinsville, Melrose, heading towards the town of Center, Texas. Those towns have the potential of being impacted by quarter-size hail. Quarter-size hail was reported in the town of Nakog Dochits or something. I'm not quite sure how to spell that town. Still continuing off to the north and east. At the moment, not seeing any serious threat at the moment, so we'll be taking a break here. So be back in 15 minutes, or if there is an update that is worth mentioning. So, hold on a second. Alright, we are back from the break. At the moment, not seeing anything very interesting weather-wise, but we'll be monitoring these storms for the next 15 minutes. If anything interests me, I'll continue streaming, but if nothing interesting happens, I will stop the stream. But if something interesting then comes back, I will restart a stream. I'll have a part 3 to the streaming. So, that's the thunderstorm warning remains in effect for Liberty, Ames, Dayton, Stillston, Devers, Hull. That will be for quarter-sized hail as the main threat, but that's going to be tracking northeast. That should expire here pretty soon. There's a new warning in effect. This includes a Sour Lake, Bevel Oak, Grayburg. That is for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-sized hail moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. Another severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for the town of Evadale, Bunna, Besme, tracking northeast at 45 miles per hour. Main hazard, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail, tracking off to the north and east. Special marine warning. Just to the south of Beach City, or to the west of Double Bayou. That storm, let's switch to the high-res radar and see if that thing has any rotation with it. As far as I can tell, I'm not seeing any rotation, but it's not working super well, so switching over to a different high-res radar. Not showing anything on that either. So the main threat at the moment will be large hail and damaging winds with these storms. Storm now to the east of Galveston. Supercell that was from earlier still is still alive, still has rotation with it. I'll show where the rotation is here. Highlight for you where the rotation is. Just highlighted the rotation. We'll be checking up to the north and east. The hazard with that storm will be large hail and water spouts, tornadic water spouts. So if you live near Sabin Pass or anywhere in this general vicinity, or watch out, this is going to be heading in that general direction. So this may be warned when it heads towards land. So just watch out that storm. Nice little hook here. I'll show with the blue. I'll show where the hook is. This is the Hook Echo region here. And I'll show another thing is I'll show you where I just got an update. So the Hook Echo, I follow the edge here. There's the echo. And we have inflow coming in from multiple areas. And I'll show where the main area of inflow is coming in, though. It will be coming in from this general vicinity. And the yellow lines are kind of showing where it's heading. Where it converges is where the inflow is flowing into the storm. Now you see this turning right in here. Did it in the yellow circle. Actually, I'll do that in a pink circle. Is where you'll have your rotation. Now let's just see if a radar confirms that. Weak rotation there. Storm is not so well defined now, and also the hail core. So I'll highlight in black up here. Is where this is where you'll have your hail. So monitoring this storm as it tracks to the north and east if it makes landfall. At this time, not seeing anything really interesting to me except for that storm offshore. Looks like a storm off to the north had a 1.75-inch hail report. The warning was canceled. Not quite sure why. It still has a hail core with it. expect maybe quarter-sized hail or maybe a little bit larger with the storm as it tracks to the north and east. It's bowing out. I'll show you what I mean by bowing out in the blue. I'll show you this. This is a backward C shape. Shows where it's bowing out. Get this backward C shape. And it kind of punches in from the back here. It punches in and it's tracking off to the north and east. So, with that storm, there is a small threat of a tornado. I'll show you what the area of rotation will be. It's a strong rotation, but it's not tight, which tight is really what you need really for the tornado to develop. So at this time, if a tornado would develop, it'd be fairly weak, and that is not likely. Tracking off to the north and east of Camden and Chester are in the path of the storm. 1 to 1.5 inch hail and small chance of a tornado with that. As a history of golf ball size hail, severe thunderstorm warning now in effect for Avondale, Lusme. That storm has now 1 inch hail has been reported with that storm. Track is for 1.25 inch hail. That'll be tracking off to the north and east towards Boona and Avesme. Evadale, you are in the path of this hail core. I'll highlight the hail core, and I'll just show you some of the features of the thunderstorm here. It's not quite as well defined as that storm to the south, but I'll show you where the notch is. This is the notch, the blue. That would be the notch. And I'll put in the yellow, the inflow coming in from here and here into this general vicinity. So this would be the inflow notch right here, hooks around here. And the hail core, highlight in black, is here. Evadale is in the direct path of the hail core. Now, I'll show you where the rotation is in pink. This is where I'd expect the rotation to be. So let's see if there's any velocity that would confirm this. Not really confirming it. There's not any, it doesn't appear to have rotation with the storm. But if a rotation would form, it would be within that pink circle, tracking north and east. And it looks like it would be tracking south of Boona or south of Evadale. Severe thunderstorm warning now in effect for Houston. Gonna continue to monitor this storm. Showing some signs of possibly being a supercell. I'll monitor this for the next 4 minutes. If it doesn't do anything interesting, I will cut the stream, but I will come back on if this does show some signs of rotation. I will say one thing, this is not really showing super strong indication of being a tornado producer. I'll show why. This here, I'll highlight in pink, is outflow. Now, the pink line is where I'm showing the outflow. It's a backwards C shape. And if I go to the reflectivity, not show quite as well on reflectivity, but the velocity is really what indicates it. So I'll show in the yellow where the inflow is coming in. It's going to be coming in from here into this general vicinity, right in here. And another thing, this interesting notch up here. And let me see what's going on up there. There's even a velocity right there, so could have a small area of rotation. I'll highlight this in yellow right there. I go back here to velocity. It's updated, so now it'd be more about there, but might be a little area of rotation. Not very strong. Would not say tornado likely with that. It's actually unlikely. 2-inch hail, according to this track, heading right towards Houston. Quarter-size hails with a warning states. I'd say 1-inch hail also. Looking at the storm to the to the east of Galveston or south of High Island. The storm is still showing some signs of rotation, but it's looking less and less well defined. So will be looks like a new state residential warning is now in effect for town of just near Hayes in Bell City. That is looking interesting. That is I'm not able to see any really. The velocities are a little messed up on it, but interesting cell there. I'm going to continue to monitor this. I'm going to go off air here in 1 minute, but I will come back on if this does continue to increase in intensity. I'll just do one more demonstration showing where the hook is. This is the hook coming in back through here. This is the inflow region right in here. And the hail core, I'll highlight in black, is right here, tracking off towards Welsh. And I'll back that off, and I'll show you where the area of rotation would be. Right in there. So that is a well-defined, appears to be a well-defined supercell heading off to the north and east and between Welsh and Iowa and heading up towards Elton, Kindler later on. Not in a warning, just heads up. The residential warning remains in effect for this storm. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-sized hail moving north at 25 miles per hour. So we're going to be cutting the stream. I will come back on if this does increase. But so thanks for joining us live here. This is a test. This is not like an official stream, so this is just a test stream. But thanks for joining us live here.